If you want to know everything about the Underland palette by 𝓖𝓪𝓬𝓽𝓪, we're gonna talk about the packaging, swatches and your first impression look. This is the right video for you. And if you don't know me, hi everybody, I'm 𝓬𝓲𝓽𝓪. Welcome to my channel, welcome to this beauty space where I just love to share with you my love for makeup. Could be old makeup, new makeup, every kind of makeup. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification in this way. Whenever I decide that it's time to do a video, you're gonna be notified. Let's start talking about the Underland palette. And I was toying for the longest time if I wanna add this palette to my collection, because this palette, it's really similar to another one that I own. At least from the photos I was thinking that this palette were really similar to the one that I own, which is the Harvest Moon. It looks really similar to me, but this one here only has 15 shades, where this one here has 21. So it's the same quality. I don't know yet, but I guess it's the same quality because they are the same brand. ensley is really consistent. First of all, I love the packaging. It's a sleeve kind of packaging, and again we have always the same problem with ensley, where they put the ingredients in the back of the packaging but don't in the back of the palette. So if you have some kind of allergies, you won't be able to reach out to your packaging to see if there is something that you maybe could not remember, but something that will irritate your eyes. There is no ingredient here. So if you suffer of allergies, you will have to keep the packaging. To the other side, it's a sleeve packaging, so it's really easy to put on and take off, so it's not a huge problem. The palette, it's a magnetic palette. I love the size. To me, it's the perfect size. It's not too small, not too big. It's a perfect 15 shades are enough to me to create a lot of looks, never get bored, and have a really inclusive kind of color story. The packaging itself it's this really beautiful drawing, and I think we are still talking about AI art. I know that later two palettes they launched are not AI generated, but people say that it's not, people say that it is, but I don't know if I'm feeling that it's right to say that this is AI. This isn't AI generated art. I don't know nothing about it, but it could be not. I don't know. I actually don't know. There is a lot of 3D feelings in the packaging. The packaging feels really luxury, as you will expect knowing the price. The palette has a huge mirror. Mine still have the protector, but it's a really good quality mirror. There is the thingy-majiggy to protect the piece of plastic to protect the mirror from the shadows, but this time inside the palette you will find this kind of form thing too. It's really thin, but I feel that it will help when the eyeshadow get, you know, if you travel with the eyeshadows, with the palette, it will help to keep the palette, you know, in place. It's a help when it comes to shipping and all of those things. So I really appreciate that touch. The packaging have 15 eyeshadows, and the color story, it's really grungy and really deep. At least when you first look at it, you can see that the color story, it's really grunge, but you have a pop of a white matte shimmer that it's a white matte shadow. It could be really helpful, but then you have really all the other matte colors are really medium to deep dark colors, so it's not for the weak of heart. you already know, but all the eyeshadow from 𝓖𝓪𝓬𝓽𝓪 are magnetic. They just don't come with the name in the back. So if you like to name your eyeshadow, you will have to do it yourself. Not a huge deal, just something to point it out. This palette has 7 matte eyeshadows and 8 shimmery special shades. Yeah, let's do the whole swatches so we can get to know the palette a little bit better. As always, I'm gonna do the swatches in the back of my hand and in the back of my arm. Now I'm gonna do in the back of my arm, but I already filmed for you the bureau where I show you the shadow swatches on my hand. There is no primer, no body cream, there is nothing on my hand, and I tried to change a little bit the light while I was showing you the eyeshadow, how the shimmers react in different lights, because we know that this makes some kind of difference, okay? But let's stop off blabbering and let's do the swatches. So as you know, ensley doesn't put the description colors in their site, so I will have to do it myself. Please forgive me if I say some words wrong. I am not a native English speaker. English is not my first language, as you probably heard, so be patient, okay? And okay, let's start. The first shade I'm gonna, oh yeah, the writing, it's really small and honestly kind of hard to read. The first color, it's the shade Twisted Rabbit, which it's definitely a white matte as I was expecting, and it's really opaque for being a white matte. White matte are not the easier colors to do, but this one here seems to be really creamy. I don't see it to be really powdery, but at the same time it's really opaque. So I don't know how they were able to obtain this much of a creamy matte white. Then we have the first special shade of the palette, which is the shade Wicked Wildflower. Oh, this color here feels so creamy when you first touch it, and it's a little bit flaky, and you can see it shift a lot. Shift gold, pink, purple, and I see a little bit of teal from my side. What are you seeing? You're only seeing pink. That's fine. And there is a lot of micro sparkles all over the eyeshadow. It's really pretty. It's not something that I will use as inner corner highlighter. It's probably something that I will use as top coat shade, because the base is pretty transparent. I will use it as a top coat or all over the eye. It's not something that I will put on my inner corner because the sparkles are kind of big. We have a beautiful red shade, which is the shade The Red Queen. This one here, it's really creamy when you touch it, but just from my finger I can see that it's really smooth and opaque, and it shifts from red to, I see a little bit of pink, gold, and maybe it has like a brownish red base, a mahogany base. It's wow, it's really beautiful. It's not really special as 𝓖𝓪𝓬𝓪 colors used to be, but I don't know, it's really beautiful as color. Maybe not the most unique red you will ever have. Then we have the shade Surreal, which is, oh boy, this one here, it's really creamy. It feels almost wet when you first touch it, and it has a brownish gray base, and it shifts green and orange, and you can actually see it shifting even with all these lights, because the shift it's really strong, and the makeup particle, it's a little bit more on the bigger size, so it reflects the light like no other. And then we have a matte shade. Finally, we have the shade No Sense, which is lovely as name. Don't come for me, but I love it. And this shade, oh my, this shade, it's almost black. It's not black, I promise you, but it's almost black. It's a really deep dark with, I will say it's a brown with a purplish undertone, but it's almost black. Really yummy, can't wait to use it. We have a really beautiful marble shade, and I have to be honest with you, whenever I see this kind of colors, I lose my interest for the palettes, because you never know how the shadows will work. So it was like something that I was like, should I don't, but I do love the ensley 𝓼𝓪𝓬𝓪 formula, so I decided to buy it. The shade is Shattered Looking Glass, and definitely this color gave me Shattered Looking Glass. It's really sparkle and fun, and it has a lot of micro sparkles, but it shifts from periwinkle to teal, and then it's a little bit of gold, and it's beautiful. Honestly, it's one of those shades that I am looking forward to use it as soon as possible. Then we have the shade Cheshire's Curse, which I will describe to be not aubergine, a violet, a deep violet shade, really pretty, really grungy, beautiful. Then we have the shade Wicked Rose, and this color sold me the palette because I love deep darks red, and this one looked like a deep dark red. Ooh, I will describe this color to be the perfect burgundy shade. Beautiful. It's a little bit powdery, but it may be because of me, and it's beautiful as color. Then we have the shade Hallucination, which is a grungy olive mossy green, really beautiful. And then we have the shade 𝓖𝓪𝓰𝓪𝓬𝓲𝓽𝓪. This color honestly does remember me a lot of a color that is on my ensley 𝓼𝓪𝓬𝓪 Harvest Moon palette. It's a really similar, just from swatching like that, you can see it's a really deep dark multi-chrome shade that shifts from magenta to blue. It's really stunning, beautiful. Then we have the shade Dreadful Dreams, and this color, it's lovely. I don't think I have a lot of color like this one here. I will describe this color to be like a gray teal shade. It kind of remembers me of the color that doctors used. I don't know if they used this kind of color in your country, but here in Italy it does remember me that kind of color, that kind of blue green gray shade. Shadowland. I have to describe this color to be an extremely sparkle deep dark teal shade that I don't feel that it's shift, but it's a really sparkle and unique. Gives me night with a lot of shimmers. Then we have the shade Behead, and I don't think I have nothing like this color. This is a multi-crown with a dark base that shifts from a copper green to purple. Now that I am describing this color, maybe if you have a large multi-crown collection, it doesn't seem to be that unique, but to me it's really unique in my collection, so I'm glad to have this one here on the palette. It's like a spicy grungy neutral shade, lovely. Then we have the shade Chaos, which I will describe it to be a grungy chartreuse shade. Wow. It's metallic, but it still is really interesting and sparkle. Not as interesting as the metallic of the first metallic that we swatched, this one here, but it's a little bit less shimmery, but still it's impactful. I will say that this is the classic metallic with just a little bit more of a oomph, which we love. Then we have the last shade of the palette, which is the shade Rabbit Hole, and oh boy, this is the definition of a grungy teal shade. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. You know what this color does remember me? It does remember me of the shade Shadowland, this one here. It just remember me of that color, but in a matte version. So you can see you can do really interesting monochromatic looks with this palette here, and you have some really interesting spicy neutral shades. So I think that this video is gonna be a longer one, as pretty much all my videos, so I will not tell you what is going on my face. I will just share with you some comparison. I feel that it's much more helpful if you already have some others 𝓖𝓪𝓬𝓪 palettes in your collection, and if you don't, I don't know, maybe I can actually take away some of your FOMO from you, maybe. So I really wanted to compare the shade Faber Washi. I really wanted to compare that color here to the shade Ghost Moon here from the Harvest Moon palette. I will say that just from the finger they look pretty spot on. Am I right? They do look really similar. So let's do the swatch comparison. So on my middle finger it's the palette it's the shade from the palette Underland. Here you have it. Oh, sorry, Underland. And then this one here, it comes from the Harvest Moon. And honestly, I feel that they are not only a dupe. I will say that it's pretty much the same color, because even the formula feels really similar, but it's a beautiful color. I am glad to have it in both palettes, because it makes sense on the Harvest Moon and it makes sense on the Underland palette. I just hope it was a little bit different, if you know what I mean. I will say that it's not a dupe, I will say that it's the same color, honestly. Let's see. Then from the Harvest Moon, I don't see nothing else that it's really similar, but let's continue. From the Flourish palette, there isn't any dupe in my opinion. Maybe this purple here, it's a little bit similar to the one in the Underland, but I can show you just putting the palette side by side. No, they are not really side by side. Let me find a way to show you. Let me see. Oh, yeah, you can tell that the two purples are really similar, but they are not the same. And well, the rest of the color story, it's a completely different vibe and shift. I feel that the Flutter palette, it's a really beautiful companion palette to the Underland, but they don't dupe each other. I actually kind of wanted to combine them both, because I feel that they kind of give you the same vibe. Maybe the Flutter palette brings you a little bit more to the, you know, it makes the palette a little bit more wearable, not wearable, it makes it a little bit more September vibes, and this one here is definitely a November vibes. I feel they are the same vibes, but completely different color stories. I feel that I don't even need to open for you the Cold Moon palette. Let me just show you, because the color story, it's a completely different vibe, a completely different kind of color story. It's something completely different. Nothing. It really gives me this. There is no color that I think that it's similar to one in the Underland. The Flower Moon, it's again a completely different vibe, but I do think that this green here it's similar to the one in the Underland, so let me swatch them side by side. So we're gonna put index finger the shade from the Flower Moon palette, and on my middle finger I will put the shade from the Underland palette. I'm so good at it. I was right, they are really similar, if not the same again. Really similar. I will say that they are pretty much the same color. Maybe not pretty much. They are straight up the same color. Maybe the shade 𝓿𝓪𝓰𝓪𝓬𝓲𝓽𝓪, the shade here, give me the same vibe of the shade Chaos here. So you can see here we have Chaos and here we have a 𝓿𝓪𝓰𝓪𝓬𝓲𝓽𝓪, and I don't know, they are really similar. So this one is from the Underland Flower Moon. Yeah, they are not the same, but they do have the same vibe. But the one from Flower Moon, it's way much more reflective. It's different formula. I would say that the one from the Underland, it's a metallic, and the one from Flower Moon, it's a foil metallic, you know? So it's way much more shimmery. Beautiful colors, by the way. And then, of course, there is nothing into the Harvest, no, this one is the Strawberry Moon palette. There is nothing that looks like something on the Underland, because this palette here, it screams summer with all its souls, so I can see nothing that it's really similar to that. When it comes to the Cosmic Dreamer palette, you can see we have the same vibes, but are they the same? Let me show you. No, I don't know. To me, there is nothing that makes the. I don't know. I can see there being companion palette, but they are not the same. And this green here, this one here, it's a multi-crown, so it's not like this one here. It's a completely different formula. So the shimmers, greens are not the same. I promise you. And maybe. No, this one here it's a little bit more warmer, and this one here it's a little bit more grayer. And the two greens, maybe the two matte greens are similar. I don't think they are that similar. Okay, yeah. They are the. Oh, I swatched with the wrong hand. You can see they are different, not completely different, but what I will consider to be different enough. So you can see I have another 𝓿𝓪𝓰𝓪𝓬𝓲𝓽𝓪 palette. I always put this 𝓿𝓪𝓰𝓪𝓬𝓲𝓽𝓪 palette here with my Bella Beauty Bar palette because it has round pens, so I always put with it. This is one of my favorites, is the Land of Enchantment, the perfect winter palette, if you ask me. And I don't know, I don't see nothing that actually remembers me a little bit of the Underland palette. So yes, not the same. So those are the three colors that are, I would say that these 2 years are pretty much spot on, same color, no worries, it's the same shadow. Those 2 years are different enough to me to have in my collection. And yeah, it's like you could put a little bit more of yellow in the shadow to make it a little bit different. But in the end of the day, when you collect a brand like I think I'm doing with 𝓿𝓪𝓰𝓪𝓬𝓲𝓽𝓪, you will have some dupes, and here you have some dupes. I am just happy that are 2 colors that I will enjoy. Imagine if it were 2 grays that I don't enjoy, and those are colors that I will enjoy to use it over and over again, so it's not a huge problem. And of 15 shadows, I was able to completely dupe only 3 of them, and only 2 of them, and one is similar, so it's not a dupe. So yeah, I am happy. Oh yeah, and other things that you may think that are the same. The red shimmer in the Harvest Moon palette has a holographic flex, so it's not the same. The white shimmer in the Cosmic Dreamer palette, it's a satin, so it's completely different finish. And this one here is the deepest plum brown that they have. This one here, I will describe it to be pretty much a black, so they are not the same. But now let's do the first impression looks, and then you let me know if you liked the palette, if you have it, if you are maybe waiting some sale to grab it. Let me know down below. I'm so curious, you know that. But now keep on watching. I'm gonna start by using some eyeshadow primer, as you already know. Today I'm using the P. Louise eyeshadow base in Rumors number 2. I kind of want to try something really different for me. Let's try it. If I don't like it, I will just scratch this video out, but let's try it. I will grab my Sigma 𝓖𝓪𝓬𝓽𝓪 brush. This one is a pencil brush. And I want to grab the shade Dreadful Dreams. And I'm placing this color to my inner corner, into the third part of my crease. Today I'm not wearing this makeup out, so I can actually play a little bit. Sometimes I like to do makeup playtime, and then I will just try to recreate the look in another way too. I'm blending this color with a fluffier brush. This one is the Zoeva 225. And I'm just blending my crease just to make this color as soft as possible. Now I'm gonna grab this flat top brush. This one is the Sigma E15, and I will grab the shade Rabbit Hole down here. I'm placing this color really close to my lower lash line in the outer part, showing the color like that. I hope you can see. Maybe if I do this, you're gonna see a little bit better. And then I will come out a little bit. Before I continue, I'm gonna do the same to the other eye. Now that this line is nice and sharp in the outer V, I will try to draw a line where in the end of my crease, where I can see my crease, going into that shade a little bit. And then I'm gonna connect the two lines right there. I will try to look straight towards the whole time. Since this eye here, it's completely blind, it has a different shape than this one here. So the look, it will be a little bit not exact. Let me try change this light here because it's pulling worm. It's so much better, right? So I wanna draw a line from the end of my crease going into that line and making them meet right here in the center. When I have them meet, I will try to connect, try to keep the look. I will try to fill out the space that I created. Since ensley rain mattes are so pigmented, it's not that hard to do this kind of work. I love it. You see? Now I'm pretty glad with the line that I created. I am already loving this look. I will grab a sponge applicator and I will grab the shade Shadowland down here. And now I'm placing this color into my outer eyelid, trying to fold the line that I already created. There is nothing on my lid. The sponge applicator isn't wet, but sponge applicators are the easier way to mimic your fingertips. So if you like me, you have longer nails, or you don't like to get your fingers dirty, this is the best way to work with this kind of texture. I'm going from my lashes to that line, trying to keep the eyeshadow in a diagonal kind of space. Okay. Now I'm gonna grab a silicone applicator. What's the difference between a silicone applicator and a sponge applicator? If you ask me, they are the same thing, but this one here, it's a little bit smaller and has a longer, it's longer, so to me it's easier to work in the middle of my lid. Now I'm going to place the shade Shattered Looking Like Glass here, and I will try to keep this color right in the middle of my lid and to meet into that darker shade in the outer V too. And again, there is no glitter glue, there is no nothing left on my eyelid. This color, it's really pretty, and even on the eyelid it kind of looks like the same that on the pan, and that there is so many different kind of sparkles that they look the same as on the pan. I don't know how they managed to do this. I just know that it's stunning. I'm having a little bit of fallout down here from the matte and from the shimmer too, but I didn't use nothing on my lid, just a primer for the matte. And you know, I'm grabbing a lot of product with the silicone applicator, so I feel that it's kind of normal, and I yet have to put some concealer underneath my eyes, so it's not a huge deal for me because I really wanted to test something different. Now I will grab my finger and I will try to keep it as close as my lashes as possible, and I will reinforce that color a little bit more because I wanted that color to be a little bit more of a opaque color, and I kind of lost my patience with the silicone applicator because it's so freaking small. Now I'm gonna re-grab my sponge applicator. I'm gonna grab a cleaner one. I'm gonna re-grab my sponge applicator, and I will go for the color Wicked Wildflower here, the second shade. And this color, it's gonna go all over my inner corner. Oh wow, this color, oh, it comes so much. I'm happy that I'm having a smaller tool to do this. I was not expecting this much of a pigmentation from this shade here. Honestly, surprised me so much. Where I see there are some flakes, I just put the brush over and then I try to press it over the area, you know? Honestly, I'm freaking loving this look so much, so beautiful. Now for my extreme inner corner, I will grab the white shade, the matte white shade, and that's gonna be my inner corner highlighter for today. How opaque this white is, and ensley 𝓬𝓪𝓬𝓪, wow. A little bit underneath my brow bone. I like to take the white, then tap it off, and then place it underneath my brows, and then with my finger I just tap the excess off. Yeah, I like this look, and even with my hooded eyes I still like this look. You know what, on my lower lash line I want to put a little bit of this purple here. I grab it way too much, and I'm coming from the inside of my eye going into that teal shade. Usually teal and purple don't blend together, but since dawn and the teal has a really cool undertone too, will actually blend together really well. And with the other side of my brush, I didn't show you, I used the tip, the side where is a little bit more of a pencil tip. And now with the fluffier side, this brush here is the one that came in my Dose of Color palette. I will just blend the edges, just like that. Oh, I like this look. Ooh, it's a really interesting look. This is a wearable, crazy looking look for me. I'm gonna put mascara, some lashes, and then I'm gonna come right back to talk about my first impression of this palette right here. I'm wearing some half lashes. I'm wearing again the one that I cut out from Shein. What's One thing that I really wanted to show you before I say that the look is done, I like to grab one of those. I like to grab it and place it underneath my eye and pull it a little bit outside here. And this way I can actually blend the edges a little bit into my skin. I don't know, I feel that it makes such a beautiful difference. It's really subtle, but it's that. But let me take my hair out so we can talk about the palette. Fine, completed look. I have to say that today I decided to go a little bit outside of my comfort zone, and it paid. I'm so glad, not with my hair, but I'm so glad that I went outside my comfort zone and decided to play a little bit with those cool tone teal shades and this two multi-chrome together and the sparkle shade too. I had so much fun. But let's talk about the Underland palette. What can I say that I didn't already told you? The mattes are easy to blend, they blend like a dream, and even the white, that it's a color that usually doesn't work as well, it worked amazingly on my inner corner. You saw how pigmented it went, and the dark shades are really easy to play with, but they are really pigmented, so you have to take care. And what can I say about the shimmers? The shimmers from 𝓖𝓪𝓬𝓪, I feel that they are the best. We have some variation of formula here. We have some multi-chrome, some holochrome, and foiled metallic and some classic metallic shades. So we have something for everybody. Complete palette, I love it, and it goes from really light to really dark when it comes to the mattes. Unfortunately, it doesn't do the same with the shimmers, because I feel that in this palette we have some lighter shades, but the majority of the shades are dark, which I do enjoy, I do like, but I know it's not for everybody. But you see the color story wherever you're picking up the palette. And unfortunately, we have some repeat shades from older collection. I don't know, it's like 2, maybe 3 colors out of 15. So I don't know, I will not say that we can dupe the palettes inside the 𝓖𝓪𝓬𝓪 collection, but yeah, we have some colors that are spot on, which is, it's kind of sad. But I do love the packaging, and if this color story speaks to you, speaks to your soul, speaks to your wallet, I promise you, if you grab this one here, you will not be let down. Okay, but I feel that this is the end of this really long video, and I hope to see you soon in the next video. And if you like this kind of content, please let me know with your thumbs up, so I know that you like reviews of 𝓖𝓪𝓬𝓪, even though they are kind of late, like this one here. But I don't live in the US, I live in Europe, so to me it's not really easy to put my hands on the palette. And if there is something that you want to know about the palette, a video that you want to see about this palette here, let me know in the comments down below. I am really glad whenever I receive a comment for you. But I will kiss you with a huge kiss and hope that I can see you soon. Bye bye!